Traffic outside at 556 is dry pavement at Main and Madison in Whiteville on your Bob King GMC First Alert Skycam Network. Dry pavement going to be far and away the rule if you have to get after it at the office or the job site ahead of a holiday weekend. The weather may tempt you to start that weekend early. Here are some weekend activity weather grades, a report card of sorts. Couple of concerns, including an elevated rip current risk for the beaches. Obviously got a sunscreen up with that UV. Things looking good if you're taking in one of the professional fireworks displays. Sky's getting fully dark at 9 p.m. maybe after you close up the grill. Let's open up your 7 expanding, Kim, to 10-day planning forecast. It's on your screen and always available on your WECT weather app.